Hi and welcome back to Media Explores, and today we're on the Swannington Incline, which is on the Leicester and Swannington Railway, which opened in 1833. Originally started building in 1832, and it was built by a Robert Stephenson nonetheless, and goes all the way from Swannington, the coalfields which were behind me, and it took coal all the way into the middle of Leicester, which is what you'll see in a moment, and basically put the coal into the factories and onto the canal network at Leicester at the Grand Union. So it's right, the sun's really in my eyes there. So you can see behind us, that's a bridge there, that's the start of the incline, and basically we're going to walk up the incline, which is about 1 in 17. The winding gear and part of the old engine house and everything are at the top, and basically a couple of features in between. So let's have a look, see what we can see today on this journey. So as I say, we've already walked along the incline from there, and then the first feature you really get to is this. Now this is a really old bridge, which I'll tell you more about, because what was originally here was a wooden bridge which was called Pitsley Lane, later known as Potato Lane. And now basically this was completely filled in. When they dismantled the railway, or the incline, in 1947, this was completely buried in basically coal slack, which was all over obviously this entire area. What happened a few years back, they've dug this back out and put a wooden bridge over the top, which allows access now. As you can see, this is really old brickwork, and it was buried for a number of years. So we go, look at that. And then you can see this side actually curves in a bit there, but originally there was a wooden bridge over the top, and that's been replaced with this footpath now. I say dismantled in 47, when they basically took the incline clean out. Now as you can see, if I hold the camera roughly level, just there is the top of the track. So that's the climb. It's quite a way up. It's about 1 in 17 apparently, so there's still some stuff at the top there which we can have a look at, and then the track goes on a little while past that. All being kept as a nature reserve, so this is all accessible. I'll put the three words on as well, so you can all find this, but well worth a visit. Lovely old brickwork, and this is strengthening that they added when they dug it out. Look at that. And then we've got, basically up we go on this walk up the hill to whatever comes next. So we look down and get the sun on the lens. There we go, look at that. So I say, this isn't the original top, that's a different, there was a wooden top on there originally, taken off in 47 when the whole line shut. So they didn't need any more coal from the coalfields down here, shut in 47, so they couldn't get, there was basically no traffic. There we go. Right, so I walked up the incline a little bit. You can see the incline here. So there's a bridge we just came from, and there's already a cutting. So look at the cutting here. So if they hadn't put the cutting in, this would have been, I guess it would have ended up being a tunnel, is the only other way they could have done it. Because if you look at this and add on to that, you've already got this incline, which we've got a little bit more to go. There was no other way of getting over this area, because it was a natural rise in the land level, I would imagine. So if they dug a tunnel, there'd be nowhere for it to come out. Wow, that is, you can really see that there. Right, onwards and upwards, nearly at the top, and then we've got the engine house and the winding gear. Right, so that's the top of the incline. And look down, you can just see in the distance the bridge, and then here we've got the winding gear that would have dragged the trucks up full of coal. Look at that, that's in amazing condition. I know it's been repainted, but that's actually lovely. I say this whole area has got a grant to keep it half decent as well, so Eastern and Tattersall leads. So there you would have the cable going out over here, and then you'd have the winder on the tracks there, and then that would have had the cable all the way down there to drag them up and wind it onto the drum. But look at that, that's amazing. That's recently had a lick of paint, so it's looking really lovely. Right, now obviously that needed power, so what they did, they had an engine house over here, which I will find. Now all that's left is the foundations of it. Now apparently they're applying for grants to rebuild this, so you can see the basis of it on off to our left here. So the track continued, obviously the coal went all the way into Leicester. So you can see here where they've put the track back in to show you roughly where it continued up the hill. So we got a building was here at some point, and I think this was the engine house itself. So this has just been left, the foundation's been left to give you an idea of where it was and what it did. But like I say, it's not here now, but there is trying to get funding to build it back. Nice remnants of something long gone. I think this is a well. Yep. And there's another well over here. An old millstone, something was obviously bolted onto that at some point. That's definitely a well. Wow, that's deep. It's very deep. Not really see a lot down there. And then over here we probably have the engine itself. The wheel in the pit there. And at the back, I think this is the chimney, or the remnants of where the chimney was. I say I'm only surmising because difficult to pick out exactly what was where. That definitely looks like a chimney at the back there. So there's the incline over there. This was the engine house. Provided the power for the wheel to pull it up. These old blocks there, wow, they're massive. But this type of sandstone is mined around this area a lot, quarried around this area a lot as well. You see loads of this in Leicester itself, which was taken down this line as well. So there we go, round in a big circle, and end up in the beginning. So here, this is where the engine would have been. Cast iron, cast steel, cast iron I think. Yeah, wow, that is amazing. It's going well to get the water out, whatever. And then there we have the incline going down there. And then that was straight onto this section, which I thought looked like an incline as well, but I guess it would be doable. So the tracks are is roughly where the Leicester and Swannington line went. They've been replaced, just to give people an idea. It carries on past my car up there. It goes on a bit further, so we'll be walking that and seeing what it looks like. But wow, that is quite a sight. Hopefully they do get the funding to rebuild this, but I don't know when those boards were put up, so that could be a long distant pipe dream, unfortunately. Wow, that's amazing. Right, so I'm just reading that the part of the engine and the flywheel, which would have been here somewhere, were in 1951 British Railways decided they should be preserved, and so they were taken to the York Railway Museum, where they still are to this day. And then this along with the chimney, which was really distinctive in the area apparently and really well known, was all demolished. So demolished in the 50s. I'll say the trust that look after the incline now and got the bridge dug out and everything else, and probably had these tracks laid that we'll see in a moment, they want to rebuild this and put it all back as it was. It's really sad that they ended up being demolished, but there we go. Just kidding. So continuing the walk, then we go along the track, which is here, which took the railway all the way into Leicester, which you'll see at the end of this video. I've added a little bit of the station where it terminated in Leicester itself, which so keep watching till the end because you'll see the rest of it. Obviously in between here and there we have Stephenson Tunnel, which will be filmed at a different date. Right, to show you where we've been, that's the bridge we could see. This is Potato Lane Bridge is there, where we're on the incline there, as you can see there. All the way incline. It's the engine house and the winding gear. And now on this section here, where it's got a bit of track just to show people roughly where it went, and then the railway went straight over the road there. And there's a bit of track the other side, which we're going to look at now. So here we are at the top now. So you've got the incline was down there. The tracks came up here. So this is the Leicester and Swannington line. Went straight through here. And they've put a bit of track in just to show where it went all those years ago. So this track then continued all the way near Colville and in towards Leicester, as we've already seen. And then this row of houses here were initially for the railway and also for the pit that was sunk right near it, which we'll go on to now. Right, so one of my heroes, George Stephenson, this fella here, who built the entire line, also helped to build this. Now this was Snibston No. 3 mine. Now so you've got the winding wheel there, and the pit was actually here. The railway is just the other side of that hedge. So what they did, they sunk down about 780 feet into the coal seam, which I'll put the name of on the screen. And they basically started bringing coal out from here, straight onto the railway and away. So that also went towards Leicester. This part was sunk before Colville even existed, which is really mad because that was obviously one of the major towns around here when I was a child, certainly, and to this day. But this was part of Swannington. Now Swannington itself, which is probably get more features, featured a lot of history from George Stephenson, where he actually was building stuff to do with mining and this original railway. Now this railway, what I keep going on about, is one of the first in the world. It wasn't just a railway, this was one of the first railways that ever was for any meaningful work. So there we have what looks like, that looks like the top of a pit. I'm not entirely sure, and I'm not going to stand on it to find out because it doesn't look very secure. But the pit was here, and then, like I say, the railway went off in this direction towards Leicester. So we go, still on the site of the original pit here. This wheel was raised in tribute to the miners and their families who worked in Swannington over a period of 700 years. Memory of Jack Jones, miner union leader and first chairman of Swannington Heritage Trust. It's the Heritage Trust that have kept all this and built it up. Designer built by Colville Tech. That takes me back a bit. Look at that old beautiful wheel. Incredible. So there we go, that's the original line. See all the way down here, down to the incline and everywhere. So the pit was off here to the left. And then this way, the tracks went all the way then to Leicester, through Colville. They crossed, and there was sidings and all sorts of links to the Ivanhoe line and everything else going on at the time, which we will cover in more detail when we do Colville itself. But as goes the incline, that's it. And it's wonderful, well, lovely little explore. Right, so this is the site of Westbridge Station in Leicester. So none of this is original. This has basically been put back to basically give it some sort of idea of where it was. As you can see in the middle of Leicester, we're right in the middle of Leicester itself, so the canal is just beyond those trees. So what used to happen, this is the line, so this basically follows the line all the way down to Stephenson Tunnel and beyond. And then basically this is roughly where the terminus was for the station. So as you can see, this is basically how it used to look. There's quite an old building back here, which I think might have something to do with it at some stage, which you can see from here. Second platform. All this is gone, you know. This was basically, that's in the middle of Leicester, the spire. And this line's famous for being the first Thomas Cook excursion came down this line as well. There we have it. So there was a sign there, but somebody's half-inched it. And that is quite an original looking signal. There we go. And then we got down onto the track there. And then track, like I say, went this way. So this is straight towards Colville and Swannington. And basically this line was made for bringing coal in to the city and to the factories and to the canals, and go from there. So what we're doing is just backtracked a little bit towards the Grand Union Canal through Leicester, which is here, and then this is a loading bay. So the railway came through the back of there where we've just been, and they came straight down here onto load. This is a loading bay straight onto the canal. Apologies for any wind noise. I picked the one day of the summer where the wind's blowing, but that's a loading bay anyway. Loading bay straight onto the canal. Then the barges would have took the coal wherever they needed to go. Now this all here was factories and warehouses back in the day, but now it's all housing. And then you've got, you can actually see here where it stoops down, the sandstone blocks here, just for a bit more strength on the edge, and then you go back onto normal canal over here. As you can see, that's the canal going north. So if we go back that way, that takes us through the town and back in towards Whetstone, basically, Cosby, Whetstone. There we go. Really good to see those. That loading bay looks incredible. That survived the test of time. So I say the main product was coal into the factories, onto the canals, and all over. Right, so that was Swannington Incline on the Leicester and Swannington Railway, and that was just incredible. Loads left here to see, loads I've found out myself. I didn't know about the pit, I didn't know about any of that. So again, always worth exploring. I'll put the 3 words down for this, so you can park here, you can walk along the incline, you can see it all. It's all publicly accessible land, and a lovely little area where the pit used to be as well. So I hope you enjoyed that one, and as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.